Welcome to the Kingdom Corner. I'm Andrew, and with me, as always, is my great friend, the guy who likes to wear his Chiefs hats all the time, or just hats in general.
Just hats in general,
There
bud.
you go. Hey, my good friend Dale. How are we doing today, Dale, on this Red Friday?
Man, the sun is shining, the birds are chirping. Football on Sunday night. How could it get any better?
Hey, not much better than that, unless it was a Super Bowl. That'd be about the
Well,
only thing
yeah,
that'd make it better. But yeah, hey, I agree. It's
yeah.
good. I don't know about you, but it's getting cold where I am, and I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I know people say that's football weather, which maybe it is, but I'm still a fan of the warm weather myself.
Oh, yeah. So am I. If it could be 75 year round, that'd be all right. 82, maybe.
Oh,
Like
oh
that'd be
yeah,
all right.
that sounds perfect to me. So
Yeah,
hey, we're gonna be looking at the Chargers game on Sunday night coming up. I
man.
mean, this is a big division matchup. The Chiefs are only have a half game lead on the number one seed in the AFC over the Bills, since the Bills hold the tiebreaker, and so lots going into this game. So we're gonna be looking at all that and more coming up. So come hang out with us.
Mahomes looks to throw it. Pump faking right side. He wants it. A comeback cut. It is caught by Kelsey. Touchdown! Kansas City. The game is over. The Kansas City Chiefs are champions.
All right, Dale. So, I mean, the first thing we have to talk about is, can the Chiefs keep this going, right? I mean, they just seem to be sneaking by all these teams. I mean, the the Panthers, the
Oof,
Raiders, I
the
mean,
Raiders. Yeah.
they're barely getting by the teams that are some of the worst in the league. So, can the Chiefs keep this up?
Yeah. A wise man told me once that any given Sunday, you can lose to an NFL team, and it doesn't
That's
matter.
right.
I mean, they're getting paid just like you are getting paid, and so they don't want to be embarrassed. And I think with the Chiefs being back-to-back Super Bowl defending champions, they are getting their best shot from everybody. And we know
Yeah.
the Raiders. We know the hate for the Raiders. They do not like the Chiefs, and they want to do everything they can to beat them. And so I was not surprised that they played super well as a team. And then, like the Raiders will play this week and they'll probably lose by 30. And it'll be like, well, and everyone's like, well, look at they couldn't even beat the Raiders. And it was like, well, when you get the best shot and everyone's amped up for the game, it's a whole different ball game when you play your rival. And then the Panthers, everyone had written off. And so they want to play out. And some of those guys are playing for contracts next year. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, but the thing that concerns me the most, even with the Raiders, though, is the difference between the first game and the second game. I
yeah.
mean, that first game, 27-20, this last game 19-17. So you could say that the Chiefs defense kind of held them to the same, but based on how that game went, it didn't seem like it was the same kind of game. It seemed like the Raiders had, quote, the recipe, as they've been claiming about this whole time. Like
Oh yeah.
like they seem to just have a better game plan going in. Like we know what to do now. I
Right.
mean, Aiden McConnell was the first 300-yard passer against this Chiefs defense all year long.
All year.
Aiden McConnell.
Yeah.
I mean, and then their running back, or running game, at least I should say,
Right.
right? I mean, they did pretty well too. They got over 100 yards rushing in this game too. So
Yeah. Came
it's
off the practice squad, that guy. Can you believe that? I
yeah,
mean, that's what, we've
yeah,
played a lot better running backs, Derrick Henry,
yeah,
so yeah.
yeah. Well, their main rusher didn't get 100 yards. He had 60 some, but
Right.
between
Yeah.
all their rushers combined, they had over 100 yards. So I mean, just that's more than the Chiefs are averaging. Though the Chiefs are averaging about
Right.
75, 80 yards a game, and they're giving up over 100 to the Raiders. So
Yeah.
now we're getting a repeat performance now against the Chargers. Are the Chargers going to have the same kind of flip where they're going to be like, you know what, we figured out what to do and what they did in the first game. Now we know how
Yeah.
to beat them.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I think they will. These boys will be coming ready to play. They'll play smash mouth defense and probably offense as well, and they'll want to get the ball running. But I think what helps out, I don't know about J.K. Dobbins' status, but I know he got hurt in that Raiders game, and so we'll see if he'll be healthy to come back and play. But I think, yeah, stopping the run for the Chargers, the Chargers want to get the run going so they can do the play action and open up some lanes. And so I think, yeah, for the Chiefs, stopping that run is going to be a big deal. And so are they going to come with the intensity?
yeah, yeah. Hey, good question. So,
Yeah.
we'll see how it all shakes out for him, but hopefully it shapes out in the Chiefs' favor. So, but yeah, that's my big concern, is that maybe the Chargers have figured out a little bit more of what the the Chiefs like to do, and so now
Yeah.
they're going to be able to expose some of that a little more, just like the Raiders did. And yet, I think the Chargers are a better team than the Raiders. I think everybody thinks that too, though.
Oh yeah.
And so, since that is the case, I mean, what's going to stop the Chiefs or what's going to keep the Chiefs from stopping them, the Chargers from doing the same thing that the Raiders just did to them?
Yeah, that's a $1 million question right there. How do you prevent? I think it's playing with what you do, like playing for the Chiefs to play their game and not to play to the Raiders game, which I think they did, and then play to not play the Chargers game, but play their game. Make the Chargers play you instead of letting the Chargers dictate what's going to happen. And so I think a big part of that is going to be the offensive line. How is the offensive line going to protect Pat? And I know we saw a visible, angry Pat on the sidelines there the other day.
Oh yeah,
angry that he's been sacked 10 times in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, good.
Not good. But the Raiders do have a good sack or a good defensive line, but the Panthers sacked Pat 5 times, and they came in the league's worst sacks. I think they had 6. Going to that game, and they came out with 11. So that's not a good recipe for your offensive line. So that offensive line is going to be a big deal. And so hopefully we'll see what they do. If DJ Humphries will be ready to go, or if Tooney will play left side. But I don't think you can go to Wani Morris or Kingsley, right?
No, I don't think you can. I think you got to flip Joe Tooney over there like they did in the game. I think that, especially coming down the stretch here, we've tried this now for 13 games, right? 12 games, whatever it is.
13 games.
Yeah. And it hasn't worked. I mean, they kept thinking, you get these guys enough experience, they're going to grow, they're going to become better, and it just hasn't worked out.
Right.
If anything, teams have learned how to beat them more because they say, okay, now I know your weakness because I got more tape on you.
Right.
I mean, against those Raiders, it looked like Wani Morris is out there giving the guy a high five as he's running by. That's as much contact as he got on guys.
Right.
I mean, just not popping out there quick enough. And, so Joe Tooney, I'm not saying that he's going to be an all-pro tackle, but we don't need an all-pro. We need average. That's all we need is average. And so if Joe Tooney goes out there, he is going to get beat. So let's not throw in the towel and say burn the ships because we see him get beat once or twice. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But can he prevent them from getting pressure, consistent pressure every single play? Because that's basically what's happening right now is every play pressure is coming from that left tackle position.
And sometimes the right tackle.
Yeah,
but it's you don't even throw every play. And it's like some plays you just need a little bit more time. And I think Tooney will give you that. Knowing that knowledge and being a veteran, he'll know, okay, I know this play, Pat's going to need more than 3 seconds. He's going to need 4 or 5. And so I just got to dig deep. And like you said, where Wani Morris, man, and look, he was giving him a high five and going right by him. And it was like, well, that the play just gets destroyed. Morale comes down. And Pat said, "Get this guy out of here."
Yeah.
So
on that 3rd down when they were in the red zone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fully convinced that if they had not taken a sack there, I'm not sure that the Chiefs are not trying to kick or not trying. I think the Chiefs are going to try to get a touchdown right there because I think they're like, we're going to hammer this way, and they're just at that point of the game too, where they're like, we need to score, we need to do something.
Yeah. But
they take a huge sack and. You could see Mahomes visibly upset when he got up, throwing the ball on the ground even, which rarely see him, lose control of his emotions like that in the game.
Right.
Very rarely. So the fact that he did shows you how big of an issue this is becoming. And you do not want your franchise quarterback to be frustrated or to not trust his blind side when he's going into a game because even if you get, a good block for 1 or 2 plays, that – Patrick Mahomes is still going to rush that throw because he doesn't trust that you can block long enough.
Right. Yeah. And so, it's that's probably the biggest story right now for the Kansas City Chiefs and to fix, and even like you said, I think that defense is going to hold teams under 20 points. They've done it for a season and a half now, it feels like. And I think but the offenses have got to score, right? And so they're doing their part. As the rules have changed so much in favor of the offense, like the defense can only do so much. I think that, we kind of talked on the phone earlier where like the defense is still putting up good numbers and doing what they need to do. It's the offense needs to carry their weight, right? They need to carry the water for a little bit and like, hey, get us 28 points, get us 21 points. I think even 24, like let's start averaging in that. And I think the defense will take care of the rest.
Yeah. I think you're right. Just so since you bring up the defense, let me ask you, do you think the defense is taking a step back though? Because it seemed like the first half of the season that they were just playing lights out. I even went as far as to call them elite when you questioned it. And I said, yes, they are elite.
Yeah. I told you I wasn't ready.
And these last few weeks, I'm starting to question whether they really are. I'm questioning myself and my confidence in this defense. Now, yes, they're still holding the teams under 20 points. But maybe it's just how they're playing, right?
Yeah.
And it's because and they're holding teams under 20 points because teams are going for it on fourth down. They're blocking field goals. Yeah. And so it's not because there's not opportunities to get over 20 points. The Raiders could have and probably should have beat the Chiefs because they missed 3 field goals. And so if they just hit those, they're probably winning that game because the Chiefs offense wasn't doing anything.
Right. Well, our biggest criticism with Andy Reid, you and I both have this big criticism on Andy, is that he gets so conservative at the end of the games with the play calling. Instead of putting teams away, he's like, let's just run clock. And it's like, yes, let's do both or let's skip points. And I think that would be – and so that's also very, I think it's one of those things where like, hey, if we need 27, guess what? I think we give 27, but it's like – and I know we should trust their defense because they've been great all year. But it's like, hey, let's give them a break. Let's let them give them a 14-point lead going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah. You bring up Andy Reid, so I have to at least give him a shout out to you, though.
Okay.
Because I agree that is one of the big things that we dislike the most about Andy Reid. And there's not much we dislike because we think he's a great head coach.
Yeah.
So we're not clamoring for his removal or anything like that. But
heavens no,
not at all. But with that being said, that fourth quarter call play where he goes run pass because it's too far of a third down to run it now, and then we have to punt it is so. I mean, we played the Raiders and we had the lead, and I looked at my brother-in-law who was watching the game and said, "Watch, we're gonna run pass right here." Yeah. And what do you know? They took a deep shot, even not just a conservative one, and Xavier Worthy was open. Patrick Mahomes just missed him.
Oh, yeah.
That's the truth of it. And so I'm like, when I saw that, even though they didn't connect on that, that gave me hope. I thought, is Andy Reid actually going to call a game to win and not just simply call conservative plays not to lose? I mean, so even though they didn't get the first down and they had to end up punting it anyways, I was so glad to see that they were actually still playing offense and not just sitting on their hands.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think that was a ball normally Pat makes. The other night, my daughter and I, we watched all 238 touchdowns by Patrick Mahomes from the beginning to end. And so not counting his playoff touchdowns, so we didn't watch those 42. But, I was quizzing her on which team they were playing. So it was pretty fun. She's kind of getting into football. Thank you, Taylor Swift. For that, and then so she wants to know who the other teams are. But anyway, just to see he has early on in his career, he has the deep ball threat. I mean, it is there. And I think we've been both impressed. I think with Xavier Worthy's durability, and so I think he has the tools. And I think that they keep working, I think it's going to get figured out. And so it's going to be pretty special. So, but I think it's also. It goes back to the offensive line. I think maybe he overthrows that because he doesn't think he has the time that he needs. Yeah, and it's just a little bit off, or he doesn't set his feet just exactly right, and then it's not as accurate. And so, but I think we just need to. Yeah. Man, that offensive line.
I 100% agree with that. I think that's Mahomes' problem for this entire year is that he's rushing throws because he doesn't think he has time. Yeah, even when he does, because he can't know because it's his blind side and it's the side that is the weakest. And so he has to rush it. At least he feels like he has to rush it even when he has time because he doesn't know how soon that thing's coming and that guy's going to be there. So,
and credit Mahomes for holding onto the ball. I mean, getting hit, blindsided hit. I mean, that is a big thing. And so, So yeah, definitely we can shore this thing up. Hopefully, we got 5 more weeks with a week off, and it'll be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I was reading just the other day.
Uh huh.
So Mahomes for sure started the season pretty rocky.
Yeah.
He just was not playing well. He was rushing throws, throwing interceptions. It was not a good look, not a good situation. But since DeAndre Hopkins has come over,
Yeah.
the the well, even Patrick Mahomes and the offense has changed significantly.
Yeah.
And so uh, before DeAndre Hopkins came over, Patrick Mahomes had like 8 interceptions and 6 touchdowns.
Phew.
So not good numbers at all.
Right.
And
Right.
since DeAndre Hopkins has been here, which has only been a few weeks, Patrick Mahomes has only had 1 interception in that time, and I think 7 or 8 touchdowns, what I read over that span too. And so he's kind of flipped the switch. Even with DeAndre Hopkins, it opens up so much. And even though he didn't catch it, I know we're not
Yeah.
reviewing the Raiders, but there's a few things I got to point out since we didn't get to talk about it. There is a pass to the back of the end zone that DeAndre Hopkins catches with his fingers
Yeah.
and just brings it in. Like the ball doesn't even move from his fingers. And
Right.
he, is too far out of bounds, out of the back of the end zone. Wasn't an accurate pass, but just the fact of how he caught that and that he
Yeah.
did catch that, I mean, that's incredible. So that's the
It
kind
is
of player
incredible.
you get with DeAndre Hopkins.
Bingo.
So let me ask you this, since we're
All
talking
right.
about DeAndre Hopkins. So DeAndre Hopkins is, on a rental deal, so to speak. So he only has
Yeah.
this year left on his contract. Hollywood Brown signed with the Chiefs last year on a 1-year deal, and he hasn't played
Right.
at all with
Yeah.
injury, but potentially will come back in the playoffs. So both those guys are going to be free agents after this year.
Uh huh.
So with that being said, if the Chiefs could re-sign only one of those two, who would you rather than re-sign?
Well, D Hop since he's on but no, probably Hollywood Brown, just because he's a little bit younger, and he didn't play, so I think you probably get him at another discount rate and say, hey, you were hurt, but he has I mean, it's projected that he's going to come back for the playoffs. So if he has a big playoff run, which he could, then I think we won't be able to afford him. So it might be D Hop, right?
Yeah, well, I'd pick D Hop either way, honestly.
Really? Okay.
And I say that not because I don't like Hollywood Brown. I think he's a great player with great talent, but his whole NFL career has been injury prone.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and so if you can't stay on the field, you're only as good as you can produce, right? In the NFL.
Right.
And I'm not saying that to throw shade at anybody at all.
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah.
But that is the truth in the NFL as a business standpoint, at
Yeah.
least, is that you're only as good as your production. And if you're not on the field, you're not producing, right? Christian
Yeah.
McCaffrey's the same way. Like when he's on the field, Christian McCaffrey might be the best player in football. But
Yeah.
I just heard this morning that he's played in 90 some NFL games. 30 of those he's missed with injury. So about a third of the games he could have played in, he's been out because of injury as far as Christian McCaffrey goes. So just if you're not on the field, you're not making a difference. And so that's why I would sign
Right.
D Hop, just simply because he's proven that he's
Yeah.
going to be there for it. He's going to be on the field. So I'll take the age if you can be on the field.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that would definitely availability is the best ability, right?
That's right. That's right.
So if you can't get on the field, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, let me ask you this too. Something about the
All right.
offense. So we've said for years now, even when Eric Bieniemy was here as the OC, we said,
Yeah.
man, Eric Bieniemy, he's the problem. We got to go. It's like we have a great opening
Yeah.
drive that's scripted, and then we can't figure it out the rest of the game, especially in the fourth quarter.
Right.
And now he's been gone for a few years, and we're having the same issues here, Dale.
Yeah. Well,
And
we
so
still got a couple
I'm-
more Super Bowls without EB. And
We
so,
we do.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, maybe it's not an Eric Bieniemy problem.
No,
Maybe.
I think it's well, go ahead. What do you
Maybe
think?
it's maybe it's an Andy Reid problem. And I'm
Maybe.
not once again,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but maybe he just has his tendencies to do it certain ways and
Right.
it's not enough to win games, unfortunately. And I'm not saying he can't win because obviously we're 11 and 12 and 1. So we're still winning games, but
Right.
eventually that's got to catch up with you, right?
Oh yeah. I think there's I watch NFL and which I just found out someone I was talking to, they don't have a TV. I'm like, what do you do? What does that mean? You don't have a TV? Anyway. But watch out.
Were they 85? I have to know.
No, they were not, and that was even more shocking.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, how do you babysit your kids? Anyway, but teach their own, right? But even watching other NFL games, and it seems like like the Shanahans and the McVays and even LaFleur is like the offensive minds, right? The great offensive minds. They get guys that have wide open, just wide open. I know we get some of that, but it's like even guys that are less than what we have, and it's like it seems sometimes it looks easier to move the ball with a less quarterback and less wide receivers. And so I don't know if it's like, it's just like you said, where he's just getting into his system. He's like, well, this is the, how we do. But I just think a lot of times, man, let's get them open.
Well,
I mean, there's not a lot of open guys.
No,
now Travis Kelce finds the openings and he's coming. I mean, it's got real quiet about Travis Kelce being distracted or old or anything like that. I mean, he's putting numbers up again. And so it's been, he looks a step slower, but he's still catching the ball. And so still sure-handed, not many yak yards, but he definitely has some yards running. So I just think I think we get some of those crossing routes that are short, don't need 5 seconds or 4 seconds. And it's like 1, 2, and it's out. And so, get those guys just in space. I think I'd like to see, but hey, it feels like there's been a couple years where I've doubted the Kansas City Chiefs and just their ability, and here they win Super Bowls. So we know they're going to be in the AFC Championship game. I mean, that's just a given, right?
Is it?
Well, he's never not been. Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes have never not been to the AFC Championship game. So I'll say that. So, until they're dethroned.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they won't get there. I think they have a great chance. But I'm just not going to write them in at this point. So let me ask you this. So last year we had a lot of concerns too, right?
A lot.
And then, they lost the Raiders and they kind of kicked it into gear a little bit. But even after that, we still had concern.
Right.
Even going to the playoffs, I don't know that either of us we both thought that they could make the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know that either one of us was very confident that they would.
No.
Right. And so with that in mind, how confident are you this year with this Chiefs team compared to last year?
Yeah, I think I'm more confident this year than last year, just because of the weapons they have. And it seemed like we had nobody on our team. So Rashid Rice was a rookie. Travis Kelce, Noah Gray wasn't the player he is this year. Justin Watson was good for a catch or two. MVS we had, which he was terrible all year. Tony was terrible all year.
MVS is great right now for the Saints. I don't know where that guy was last year. But
I don't know either. And so it was and we had Pacheco, and so it was man, the weapons we have now, and I feel like it seems like the boys are rolling, but now we have the left tackle issue and the right tackle issue. And so it's but I feel better. They're going to figure out a way. I mean, he was what was it, 2 years ago, he was on a broken ankle or a broken foot, Well,
let me ask you this. Are you more confident this year because of what they did last year? Or are you really more confident this year because of who they are?
I think just because of who they are and the way that, I know everyone says it's luck they're winning these 1-point games, but eventually luck runs out, right? Or it's just hey, it's those high pressure, intense situations that they've been in. So I will bet on the Chiefs every time if it's a close game, and because it feels like our whole Patrick Mahomes' life has been man, he has the ball at the end, we're gonna win. We can look back at several games. The Houston playoff game where they were down 24-0. 24-0, and we're leading by half. I mean, how's that? And that was the first quarter, 28 or 24-0. And so, the lead by half was incredible. The 13 seconds with Josh Allen. I mean, there's never a time where we're not just out of a game. Let's and every Super Bowl they've won, they've been down 10 points at some point in the game. So I mean, there's always, I don't want to say hope, but always a chance for them to come through. And you just almost expect it now as a Chiefs fan, which is probably shame on us.
Yeah, probably is.
So
I'll say I don't always expect it. I think that they always
Yeah.
have the ability to.
Yes, there you go.
But I don't know that I always expect it because I feel like I'm still a little bit of a realist,
Right.
and maybe that's to my fault even. But we
Right.
get in these situations like, what are the Chiefs going to do now? I mean,
Yeah.
they're barely hanging on, and I just keep thinking they're going to drop some of these games because they just keep letting teams play it close. Like even
Yeah.
the Panthers and the
Oh,
Raiders,
I know. Yeah, yeah,
the worst teams in the NFL, and we
yeah.
are in one score games with them. I mean, it's just it's it's frustrating as a Chiefs fan, but also exciting because you're like, okay, the Chiefs are still winning,
Right.
and I've said this all year. Good teams find ways to win close games,
That's right.
and I still believe that. And so, to your point, what you're saying too is I have confidence in the Chiefs this year. Um, I don't- it's got to be more than I had last year because
Yeah.
last year I thought the Chiefs would win one playoff game and then get bounced.
Right.
That's what I really thought.
Yeah.
And this year, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll at least get to the AFC Championship game, if not
There
the
you go.
Super Bowl, just based on the teams that they're going to be facing up against.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll get more into some of that a little bit later. But I have a lot of confidence in the Chiefs and who they are and the team that they have now. I think their offense is going to figure it out eventually, especially in the
Right.
playoffs. You pointed this out earlier, but Mahomes, Travis Kelce, you get D-Hop on a team that's relevant in the playoffs. I mean,
Right.
those guys are all stepping their game up in the playoffs. They do
Yeah.
every year. And
Yeah.
maybe D-Hop, we don't know what he's going to be in the playoffs, but I fully believe that he's going
Yeah.
to step his game up in the playoffs
Oh, yeah.
as well as all these other guys, like along the defensive line, like Chris Jones and Charles Omenihu, who come back from that injury. Those things are going to be good. And I don't think either side is going to be a top 3 offense or a top 3 defense, but I think
Yeah.
between the two of them, they're going to play so well balanced together that they're still going to win. So your
Right.
team, the offense might not have to put up 30 points to win. They haven't
Right.
all year, right? And so, but your defense also isn't going to give up 30 points a game, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
So it's a lot to take in. I know the defense gave up some big points to the Bills this year, and it's like the most they've given up in a long time.
Yeah.
But I think that's not going to be the case if we face the Bills again. The
No.
Bills are still going to put up points, but I think the Chiefs defense and
Yeah.
Spags is a great coordinator. And I think
Oh, yeah.
he's going to figure that kind of stuff out, how to stop them.
Right. And I think I think it means more for the Buffalo Bills to win.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I think I'm not saying like it doesn't mean anything for the Chiefs. Like it does. They want to win the game. But I think like you see Josh Allen run more when he's playing the Chiefs. You see, and it's like, okay, all right, bud, calm down. Like
yeah. Well, you saw Josh Allen after they beat him this year in the regular season.
Yeah.
He was not excited.
No.
You think they just knocked off the only undefeated team left in the NFL, and he was not excited. He said, "Yeah, we do this every year.
Every year.
But we have to beat him in the playoffs."
Yep.
Because he has never beat the Chiefs in the playoffs ever. And so
Never,
when
ever.
you have that going for you, that's a big concern.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what do the Chiefs need to do to win this game against the Chargers on Sunday?
Oh man, knock out Justin Herbert. No.
Man, I didn't realize we were going back to the Saints ways here. So.
Oh yeah. No, I think stopping the run, I think stops a lot of their offense. I think they're a run first team, and then they play action. And Herbert's been playing really well, but I think just stopping the run, and then you saw the Chargers, struggle with the Falcons. And not saying the Falcons are a bad team, but they're more of a finesse team, and they needed a pick 6 to win that game. And so I think it's stopping the run. If J.K. Dobbins is back or he's hurt, just whatever you got to do to stop the run and to control the game.
Well, I believe J.K. Dobbins got put on the injured reserve.
Oh, he did. Okay, that's too bad, man. I hate when guys get hurt. Never want to see guys get hurt. So then I think stop the run and then go from there and then control the game with Pacheco. And wasn't it great to see him on the field?
Oh man, it was. And first game back already bested a 20+ yard run. So fantastic.
I know. Yeah.
And the combo with him and Kareem Hunt is going to be great going forward because Pacheco is going to get those first and second down carries because he has the explosiveness. But when you need a tough yard, Kareem Hunt's going to get in there and get them.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a great combo.
it's going to help. I think it's going to help so much with like keeping them fresh, not one guy carrying 25 times. It's going to be, 15, 10 or, whatever it be. So, so excited for that. And then just, control the game and play your game. And then can we please score in the red zone? Can we please figure it out?
Well, we should.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think for the Chiefs to win this game, they got to put pressure on Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
I think they're going to stop that run game. Gus Edwards, I'm not taking anything away from him. He is an NFL player, but last week he had like 30-some yards. So I'm not going to put my faith in that he's going to have an explosive game. I think the Chiefs' run defense is good enough to stop that.
Right.
The Chargers' run attack. And so they have to put pressure on Justin Herbert to force him to make some bad decisions. And so I think that's how the Chiefs are going to win this game, is getting pressure on him. And hopefully Charles Omenihu being back will take another step forward this week. And we'll see some pressure start happening a little more. Just like last week, Charles Omenihu's on the field and Chris Jones starts getting a little more pressure. So him being on the field is going to make a big difference.
That's a great point. I think George Kalafis was on the right side or left side of the offensive line. And it seemed like he had a lot better success on the left side than the right side.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
I think Chris Jones gets to pick where he wants to go, and everybody else has to fall in behind him.
But I think he should start lining up over the left tackle. I thought he had some great pressure.
Well, that's because when Chris Jones moves out to the edge, he always goes to the right side, it seems like, of the offensive line, usually. And because of that, George moved to the left side. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. All right, so score predictions. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think
a close game. Oh no,
it is. Wow. Right now the spread is 4 points, so I think it's going to be Chiefs 24, Chargers 25.
So what is Vegas doing? What is Vegas doing? What do they know we don't know?
I don't know, but they're on it. They seem to be on it. So. All I know is Vegas doesn't lose very often. That's why they're still in business.
Yeah, there you go. 24-20.
24-20.
Yeah. Chiefs cover.
All right. Chiefs cover. All right. Well, then let's move to our betting line predictions. And
here we go.
Once again, we are not.
No, we're not telling you to gamble your money. We are not telling you to bet on this. Do not listen to us, please.
Because here's our records. We both have the same record, ironically, because we've not picked the same things. Every week we pick differently on a lot of these, and we still have the same record. We are 6-9. So,
this is why
last week or against the Panthers, we did not do well. So we had a.
All right, we're going to turn around though today. We're going to turn around. Let's go. Here we go.
All right, so the Chiefs by 4. So are the Chiefs or the Chargers going to cover this?
Well, my score says they are. So, I'm going to say they're going to cover. Chiefs are going to cover 24-20.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and say that the Chiefs will not cover it. They'll get the win, but they're not going to cover it. So, we'll see. All right. So, the next one I got for you, Justin Herbert passing yards.
Okay.
So, he is averaging, I'm going to give you his average too, so you can kind of get a base here. So he averages 212 yards passing a game.
Okay.
So for this game, his line is 229.5.
Under. Give me the under.
All right. I'm going to take the over, actually.
Okay. Yeah. He's going to have to pass more. No run game. That sounds perfect for us.
That's that's what I think. I think the run game is going to struggle, so they're going to have to pass more. So I think he's going to get over that. Gus Edwards, last week, he got this. Most of the rushing yards, if not all of them, with J.K. Dobbins being out. He got 32 rushing yards last week. So this week, his line is 33.5.
Ooh, over.
The over. Well, I'm taking the under on this.
All right, there you go.
So far, we've none of our picks lined up. That's all right.
That's all right. Hey, that'll be good. One of us will be
One of us is going to have a great record.
Yeah.
Or we're going to just split them. We'll see what happens. So, Pacheco rushing yards. So his average for the season is 60. Now, some of those, keep in mind. He didn't play the full game. And, last week he just, had a big rush yard, but didn't get many. So anyway, so his average is about 60, but his line for this week is 52.5.
52.5.
Yeah. I'm going to take the over on this one.
I'm taking the under.
All right.
He had last week. He had 44 with 7 attempts.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I don't feel like he got a lot of looks last week, and I think he's going to get more this
you
week.
get more looks. Okay, all right.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
This last one is the one that I struggle with the most. Is Deandre Hopkins receiving yards?
All right.
So his average for the season, he's averaging 41 yards receiving a game. The line is 39.5, so almost right at that. And I am going back and forth on this and have not made up my mind yet because I don't know. I think I'll go ahead and put mine out first. But man, if I was a betting person, I would stay away from this one. That's for sure.
Yeah. There you go.
But since we're just doing this here, I'm going to say that he's going to go over. I think he's. I think they're coming in, disappointed from their loss, and maybe he's going to have one of the breakout games. We'll see. I'll take the over.
Yeah, I'll take the over as well. I think we're getting closer to the end of the season. I think it's going to be a lot more like, okay, what do we have? What works? I think this will be more of a practice for the Super Bowl. What works? What doesn't work? And we'll go from there. So I think he's going to have the over. He's going to definitely get more than 40 yards for sure.
All right. Well, we'll find out. That's about his average for the season. So it's going to be close. So hey, we're looking for the Sunday night game against the Chargers for Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a great one. You're going to want to tune in for this. I think the whole country will want to tune in for this. Whether you're a Chiefs fan or Chargers fan or a fan of another team, I think it's going to be a great football game either way. And I think it's going to be close down to the end. So you're going to want to tune in for this. So thanks for joining us this episode of the Kingdom Corner. Here's the thing we need you to do the most. And yes, I did use the word need because it is a need, not a want or a desire. We need you to do this. We need you to like this, subscribe, follow, whatever platform you're listening on. Do that thing to follow, subscribe, man. And then also leave a comment on this. You can do that on Spotify even. I don't know if you know that. You can leave comments on Spotify. Or on YouTube or wherever you're watching this. Man, we want to interact with you. We want to know your thoughts. Tell us what you agree with, what you disagree with.
We got a lot of that. We got a lot of that.
That's right. Hey, that's all right. None of us are perfect. Only one person's ever walked this earth who was, and we are not dead. So, hey, thanks for joining us this episode. This episode is brought to you by Oh Hey Threads, where a portion of every purchase goes to support missions all over the world, one super soft tee at a time. You can get your own super soft tee or hoodie at ohheythreads.com. We'll see you next time. That's right.
Worth it.
Completely worth it. We'll see you next time right here in the Kingdom Corner.